Fani's done. Fani's going to be, in my estimation, not able to continue. And it may come down to simple things like, nobody wants to elect her because she made a whole lot of promises, including a promise saying, I promise you, I will never take up with my employees and then spend taxpayer dollars on those employees. And well, what do you know? She took up with one of her employees. And not just her employee. He may have actually, and this might be the trouble for her, he may have been her boyfriend ahead of time. And that gets really complicated. And that's what Donald Trump and his team is going to have to try and look at on the appeal. It's also what the Senate is going to be looking at. So this is like double whammy for Fani here today. We've got news that, yes, the appeal that Donald Trump, this is his next move against her here, that he wanted, this has been granted. So the Georgia court is now allowing Donald Trump's appeal to move forward in the Fulton County DA from his election fraud case. He's basically saying this woman had no reason to be the DA, let alone bring this case. And the reason she shouldn't have been the DA is because she was doing some stuff that she shouldn't have when it came to the boyfriend, Nathan Wade. Yeah. So Nathan Wade wants you to think, as does she, that this all just kind of started on the job, but there's like 30,000 pings going back and forth. They're like texting each other all the time before he got the job. And then he kept visiting her condo before he got the job. So either it's one heck of a job interview or there was something else. And if there was something else, then you have to ask, okie dokie. Now, could she have been rewarding him with this very large paying job, like probably the most money he's seen, I don't know, but $600,000+ for his work there, going after Trump? Was she doing that and succeeding herself financially because of it? Or did she give him that job with the knowledge that she was going to get something else? Was she skimming something off the top? And I'm talking about more than just cruises. So the judge last time around, his frustration was you guys didn't actually prove out how she was financially benefiting. So Trump's legal team needs a really good forensic accountant. Maybe that forensic accountant or just the legal team could get in touch with the ex-wife for Nathan Wade, because that's how this all came about. Nathan Wade, his ex-wife was like, I don't want to be married to you anymore. She sues him for divorce. And then all of a sudden she's looking at just exactly what he spent on the mistress, which would be the one and only Fani Willis. Can you believe we're talking about this? I mean, in all seriousness, this Fani Willis, I mean, I'm sorry, but you're going to go after the former president of the United States. You got to kind of have your act together. She's never had her act together. I mean, never, not from day one. Do you remember when this whole thing went down? Oh, she dragged him down to Georgia because he had to get the mug shot. You know, they had to go in and do the whole thing at the county jail, the whole bit, right? Well, when she first announced all this, it turned out the indictment hadn't been delivered, hadn't been signed, sealed, and delivered, and yet somehow she released it. And she's blaming the clerk. Watch.
I am not an expert on clerks' duties or even administrative duties. I wouldn't know how to work that system, and so I'm not going to speculate. Next question.
And then there was another little problem along the way to the forum. One of her former employees alleged that some money was being used, and inappropriately so. And this somehow had something to do with Nathan Wade. And this employee was disgruntled because apparently she brought this to Fani Willis's attention. And the next thing you know, she's out looking for a job. Let's play that one. Oh, we'll get that in just a second. But we get that. And if there we go. I think we're coming up with this. This is a like kind of secret recording that got leaked. And this is from November 19th, 2021. And it's this disgruntled employee who at the time was just going and reporting something. This is all going to be relevant, right, in the appeal. I think it's all going to be relevant because they're going to want to know where every single dime went. Let's listen.
I am not an expert on clerks' duties or even administrative.
About his, respectfully, and in an email about his lack of leadership and the fact that he wanted to do things with grants that were impossible. And I kept telling him, like, we can't do that, and questioning stuff. He would take me off projects, tell people I wasn't doing what I was supposed to because I questioned him. because I understood. I helped write that grant. I knew what was in that grant. He told everybody in front of Crystal, Deontay, everybody.
Okay, so this is this woman telling Fani Willis. And then Fani Willis says, I don't know if you have it, Drew, but her response, I'll just tell you guys what it is. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Right? And then the next thing you know, the woman doesn't have a job anymore. So she was not too happy about that. I think all this is going to come up. I think they're going to have a real problem on their hands because if they really dig down and they figure out just exactly where all the money went, follow the money, as I always say, you're going to see some stuff that you don't want to see, that you probably can't unsee. There are things we just don't want to think about in this world, right? On top of that, Fani Willis just got hit with this little number right here. The U.S. Senate is saying, hey, we want to see your Fanny in Washington, D.C. All right, because we get a lot of questions about just exactly what went down and how coordinated this whole effort is and why it was that you and Nathan Wade had to go visit the White House and hang out with Kamala Harris. They say it was just a party, nothing serious. But I think that inquiring minds would like to know how much of this is coordinated. Donald Trump making the point yesterday outside the courtroom in Manhattan that the DOJ's number 3 employee left the DOJ to come work for Alvin Bragg so he could help prosecute the case against Donald Trump. Well, that didn't turn out so well. So far, anyway. Look, Fanny's got her problems ahead of her. We wish her very well. And I would just say this, before you go around and you start going after the former president of the United States with all you got, you might want to just, make sure that you're not involved with things that you shouldn't be. We'll leave it that way. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you kind of want to be a little bit squeaky clean because you got to know that Donald Trump is going to try and find whatever he can find, and the lawyers are going to bring forward whatever they can bring forward. I mean, Michael Cohen is learning that the hard way, is he not? Reminder, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you make a comment. All of it counts. All of it counts.